All right, so for this little course that I'm going to be creating, these are all the things that I wish I learned in school that nobody ever taught me. So today I'm going to be talking about how to invest your money in the most simplistic way in order to make as much money as possible. So let's break down money very systematically so we can understand. All right, here we have you. Oh, I don't like this marker, sorry. Here we have you, okay? You, okay, every month make money, so money comes into your life and money goes out. Very simplistic. Let's keep it to the very, very simple here. Money coming in. Here's some options of money coming in. You can have a job. You can have a business. Okay. And that can be broken into either products or services. Okay. These are immediate things that come in every single month. Now, if we were to do the math on this, say you make on average $25 per hour. Okay. To make $25 per hour, you work 40-hour weeks. Okay, so 25 times 40, 0, 0, carry the 2, 8, 2, you have 100, so you make $1,080 a week before taxes. We take out 30% roughly, so say roughly by the end of this you have $700, okay, per week. Multiply that by 4 for 3 weeks, making $2,800 a month on average, okay? Now this is just a very, very basic form of this. Now let's go over to the other side here. What are you spending money on? Well, you might have rent or a mortgage, depending on who you are, what you've done with your money so far, okay? Also food, your phone, insurance, okay? Music, whatever you want to throw in here, okay? You can fill this up with tons and tons of different things that you're spending. Now the key is, this is called your revenue, and this is expenditure. Oops, did not spell that correctly. Expenditure, there we are, okay? So, every month, you make $2,800. In order for you to actually churn profit, you have to spend $2,799 a month or less, okay? If you spend that much, you only have $1 that you made, okay? So if you're really, really good with your money, say you understand, okay, well, maybe instead of going out to eat, where I'm spending $20 on a meal, $30 on a meal, I could instead buy some bread, I could instead get ramen, I could instead get a carton of eggs, I can go grocery shopping, okay? If you really, really, really play this smart and you're still trying to eat healthy, there's no reason that if you were just grocery shopping and buying in bulk and freezing things that you couldn't spend $400 a month on food, okay? Rent, let's say you have a rent for $1,200, okay? So now you're spending $1,600. Your phone bill, say it's $50. Say your insurance is, if we're combining insurances, maybe it's like $300. Okay, and then music, you're dropping like $20, okay? So let's do the math on this. $1,600, $1,900, $1,950, $1,920, okay? $1,920 you're spending every month. This means if you're really smart with your money, you can read that right there. 2,800 minus 1,920. Quick maths. So we just do 2,800 minus 1,920. 0. Okay, we'll take this from here. Go 8. We'll take this from here. Call that 8. So you made $880 this month. All right, that's your leftover, and that's your fun money. We'll call it fun money. You can do whatever you want with it, but I don't recommend doing whatever you want with it. What I do recommend, if we keep this in our heads as the whole revenue and expenditure format, you made $880, we'll just keep that over here, okay? If instead you take that same revenue of $2,800, and before you do any of your expenditure, you take 10% of it, okay? You don't give it to the church, okay? Instead of giving it to church, why don't you invest it? So we can take that 10%, so $280 per month. And what I would recommend everybody do is put it into what's known as a Roth IRA, okay? Take the 280, you put it in a Roth IRA. Here's why. A Roth IRA, especially if you buy a Roth IRA, which is investing in an account through the S&P 500, S&P 500, this grows on average between 8 and 10%, okay? So let's just use 10% for easy numbers. It grows at 10%, which is compounding, meaning it gets bigger and bigger and bigger the longer you go with it, okay? So you take that 280, you put it in your Roth IRA. Now, for those of you who don't know, Roth IRA is a retirement fund. You're technically not supposed to withdraw the money until you're 59 and a half with taxes. They'll tax you if you take it out too early, except in one occasion, if you are a first-time home buyer. So if you want to buy your very, very first house, what you do is you keep putting your money in here every month, okay? So let's do it for a year. If you take $280 out of your fund money, so literally you can still have $600 a month to have tons of fun with. That's if you're making $25 an hour, working 40 hours a week. You can find higher paying jobs. You can cut your costs other ways, live below your means in other ways, which is the key here. Living below your means means that you are making more money than you are spending. That's it. So the wider you can make the gap of making more revenue and less expenditure, the richer you become faster, okay? And you want to just find the balance of that. What can you physically maintain for a very, very long period of time? Because sure, you might be able to go a couple months really cutting costs, but at one point you might be like, I really want to go on vacation, or I really want to buy that thing. Go buy it. It's fine. Take 10% of your money every single time and invest it. That's a better method because you just do it at the beginning. I literally have it set up automatically for my accounts, okay? So take that and put it off to the side. You have that 280. Now, if we multiply this by 12, my math is not great, okay? Let's see, 100 plus 2. Okay, so 3,360. Okay, that's your money that you've invested. There's no interest rate added to this. So if we add the 10% annually onto this, you're gonna add $336. That's $336 that you made for free. You didn't do anything, it just naturally grew at that rate. That's how it goes, okay? So now you add that in, 6,963. Now you start with 3,696. So let's do it again for a whole nother year. So we go 3,000, this number, this is what your account has right now, $3,696, like so. You take that, and then you put this back in. So you still do the same thing. You make the same amount of money, another $3,360 in there. So $3,360, okay? 6, you got 5, 1, okay, $7,056 before the interest. You multiply this by 10%, okay? So times 10%, which equals, so it would be 7,056 plus 705.60, okay? So that equals 60 cents. 1, carry the 1. 7, okay? So now you have $7,761 in the account. You can see that down there, right there. So you made $705.60 for the second year of your money doing absolutely nothing. So 1 whole free week of rent, okay? Now, it seems small at the beginning, just because these numbers aren't really huge. Now, let's just leave this. We keep doing this, we keep adding to this, and eventually we get to the point where we have, say, $85,482 in the account after, say, 10 years, okay? We got $85,000 in here. If we multiply that by 10%, we get $8,548.20, okay? For doing nothing. $8,548.20 for free every year added to the account. I'll explain how it works in a moment, but this is what gets added every single time. Okay, so we add that to here. Your new net worth is now 9,000. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna have to do the math old-fashioned way. So 9,000. 2. Okay, so we have 20, 0, 1, 3. So we now have $94,030.20 in the account, okay? This is how compounding interest works. Now, when you have debt at a 10% interest rate, your money is going down that way too. So the more debt you have, the worse it gets. The more money you have, the better it gets. So the key is consistently find your rhythm with the revenue and the expenditure, okay? You need to find the way month by month to look at your finances and go, okay, this month I spent more money than I made. So I'm actually in the negative, meaning I can't invest. Now, if you made more money because you had 10% of your money going to the Roth IRA, this is gonna be continuously compounding. If you're in debt currently and you're trying to climb out of it, I definitely recommend investing, but I recommend just getting your debt gone as fast as possible. Just chunk it out, get rid of it. The second you get rid of it, the better off you are, okay? So, this is the gist of everything. Also, if you ever have any questions or anything like that and you want to know more about any specific topic, I'm more than willing to research things and look things up. Just leave it down in the comments. I will look it up for you. So, a Roth IRA is designed as a retirement fund post-taxes, okay? So you're not going to be taxed on this money once you retire at 59.5 years old. That amount of whatever we had up there, okay? So say we invest in our Roth IRA, which is growing at 10%. We eventually get our Roth IRA, which maxes at, you can only do $7,000 annually into the account. That's the max you can do. Now, it's not super common that you throw 7,000 there, but if you can manage to get 7,000 in there, I definitely recommend doing it. It's pretty close to, I believe it's like $600 a month, a little over $600 a month that you would have to add into it to get there. So anyway, this is entered into what's known as the S&P 500, okay? That number right here, the 59.5, is irrelevant if you are a first-time home buyer. So meaning, if I got over, say, 10 years, $40,000 roughly in my Roth IRA, which it does take time to grow. So once we get there, we get there. We get our $40,000 in our Roth IRA. I can use this as my down payment on my house. Obviously, the higher that is, it's easier to keep lower interest rates because the banks are going to find you a little bit more trustworthy. So you can keep this growing as long as you want to. You can use that for your first-time house. Now, the S&P 500 very specifically works by finding the 500 highest earning companies in the United States. So if one of the companies, say it's, I don't know, I'll just call it company A for the sake of the internet. So company A is in 500th place, okay? Ugh. They go bankrupt. They have no more money. Okay? They have no more money. in company A. So what ends up happening is the company that's 501st goes up to 500th place. And this one drops down and is eliminated, okay? So the reason that your money is safe is because no matter what, there's always going to be the top 500 earning companies, okay? Unless everything gets destroyed and it all goes down, which that's a whole other issue, and we can discuss world politics on another video. But for now, understand that when you invest 10% of your money, it goes right back in into your money, and you can consistently grow. Again, you can use this for your first house. So the key to money making for everybody thinks it's like, oh, once I win this big thing happens to me. Oh, I win the lottery. Oh, it's so beyond where I am up here. You keep jumping for it. Whereas if you start going, okay, what am I having? What do I have? Okay, every month I'm making, okay, so say I'm making $2,800 like we were saying before. Now, if I wanted to throw a little bit more and go a little bit faster, maybe I pick up a second job where I work another 10 hours making $25 an hour, okay? So another $250 every week or $1,000 a month, meaning you're now at $3,800. You can throw that same extra $1,000, you say, you don't even have to do it with a Roth IRA. If you want to throw it into a brokerage account, I would put it in the S&P 500 personally, just because it's safe, okay? Now, the reason that they don't teach us this in school, I don't really know. This is so important to life. I didn't really learn about the details of this until I was about 24 years old. So definitely recommend learning this. Definitely recommend starting now. What I would very first step that you want to do, go right now and look at this last month. Look at the month of February. Look at your bank account statements. How much money came into your account, how much money went out of your account, and write them down objectively. You don't have to do it with somebody watching you. You just need to know for you. And if you are spending more money than you are making, you are poor, period. I don't care if you have a lot of money or if you have little money. If you are making only $2,800, a lot of people aren't really satisfied with this. A lot of people need to make at least $3,500 to $4,000 a month to feel satisfied. You can make a living off of $2,800 very easily, especially in the United States, okay? A lot of people do it. You just need to take 10% of your money and invest it into the S&P 500 to have that growth. Do it with a Roth IRA. You can use that for your first-time house. If you don't want to use it for a first-time house and you still want it to grow at that rate, you could still just enter it into a brokerage account via the S&P 500 to have part of that, okay? So first step, go look at your revenue and expenditure and be objective. Are you spending more money than you are making? If you are, you either need to get a job that pays you better or you need to get better about your spending habits. No ifs, ands, or buts. There's a lot of little simple things that you can do to really narrow that down. So I hope this helps. If any of you have any questions, if you want me to talk about anything in particular, I'm more than happy to go into depth. Thanks. Oh, also, please like and subscribe. That would be very helpful. And if you want to share this with anybody who might need it, I would love to be able to help people who are looking for financial help. Thanks.